By 1981, Fritz Von Erich was 51 years old, a near-retired legend stepping back into the ring only when the moment demanded it.
Yeah, because when the moment demanded it, or when the gate demanded it.
Fritz was the promoter of NWA Big Time Wrestling, later known as World Class Championship Wrestling, and the patriarch of the Von Erich family.
He's the boss, the booker, and the babyface. That's the Texas Triple Crown.
He only wrestled sparingly by 81, usually to settle personal feuds or boost big show attendance.
Translation: when business dipped, Fritz magically remembered he had one more Iron Claw left in him.
He was a superstar in Texas for decades, but by 1981, he was transitioning the spotlight to his sons, Kevin, David, and Kim.
Yeah, but let's be honest, he still kept one spotlight on himself. Just a small one. A nightlight.
1981 marked the Great Kabuki's debut in Dallas. Created by Gary Hart specifically for this territory, Kabuki was unlike any villain Texas had seen.
Face paint? Mysterious martial arts? Nunchucks? Mist? Yeah, the sportatorium wasn't ready.
He was the originator of the famous Asian mist attack.
And chiropractors everywhere rejoiced at the next strain from dodging that mist.
Kabuki was presented as a near-supernatural threat, beating names like Jose Lothario and even Bruiser Brody on TV.
Jose Lothario, sure. But Brody? In Texas? Well, that's how you know booking was spicy in 81.
Kabuki was backed by Gary Hart, one of wrestling's greatest managers and a key booker behind the scenes.
Oh yes, Gary Hart, the man, the myth, the walking ASMR whisper promo.
The feud was red hot. Kabuki injured David Von Erich. Fans believed it, and riots nearly broke out.
You know, one event even tried to punch Gary Hart during the Fritz Kabuki match. Peak Texas, peak Hills, peak, I paid $9.50, I'm gonna fight somebody.
Kabuki's eerie presence, stiff strikes, and Hart's interference created a sense of genuine danger.
Kabuki scared Texas fans so much they started going to church again.
In their no-DQ showdown, Kabuki dominated stretches of the bout with martial arts and missed threats.
Kabuki wrestled like he had permanent access to cheat codes.
But ultimately, Fritz trapped him in the Iron Claw, and with David helping fend off Hart, and scored the victory.
Fritz won. Ancient demon ninja wizard from Tokyo, zip.
This was one of Fritz's final major matches. He officially retired the next year in 1982.
A retirement so strong, he only wrestled occasionally for emotional reasons afterward.
Kabuki continued as a top villain through 1983, feuding with Kevin, David, and Kerry.
Gary Hart Kabuki became one of the all-time great heel manager combos, right up there with Captain Lou and anyone and Bobby Heenan and literally everybody.
So the Fritz versus Kabuki match wasn't just a spectacle, it bridged generations.
So we have Old Texas versus New Mystique, Iron Claw versus Asian Mist, and Cowboy Dad Energy versus Silent Ninja Murder Aura. Only in world class. Here comes Fritz Von Erich wearing a black turtleneck under a spotlight. Bill, for a second, just a second, I thought he was wearing a fucking onesie. Or hosting an art gallery in Soho. Welcome to the Von Erich Contemporary Arts Center. Tonight's installation, Pain.
I thought he was modeling the new fall collection at a suburban Sears. We'll be hanging paintings and people.
Meanwhile, the children, here they come like a flash mob at a Black Friday sale.
They swarm Fritz like pigeons on a man holding bread.
You know, this looks so suspicious to me. Like, where were these kids for Mil Mascaras? Nobody wanted his autograph?
Nope, this is Von Erich country. Mil Mascaras could have brought 1,000 masks and signed them all himself. No one's lining up.
Meanwhile, these kids act like Kevin and David invented Christmas. This whole thing feels like waiting in line at Disney World. Can Mickey sign my book? Except Mickey is 51 and ready to tear Kabuki's face off.
Yeah, the equivalent of Disney characters signing autograph books. Except instead of Goofy, you get a man who used the Iron Claw to pay his mortgage.
You know, this is wild, though. This was an actual business model. You engage the community, autographs, handshake spots, human connection.
These guys weren't just seen as wrestlers. They were hometown heroes, role models, legends, and also the world's most patient Sharpie users.
But it takes forever. This autograph session feels longer than some WrestleManias. You know what kills me? I can't believe Vern Gagne never stole this idea.
It's such a Vern move, so wholesome, so corny, so please like us.
But nope, no autograph stampede night in the AWA, not even a scrapbooking session. Would you look at this? Kids hanging off the apron like barnacles.
Some are practically on the mat. Fritz is signing more autographs than he'll take bumps.
You sign, you smile, you wave, and eventually someone must be disappointed because there is no way you sign everyone. Bill, Fritz just stepped over the top rope.
Shades of Kevin Nash, except Kevin Nash wasn't born 51 years old.
And Fritz didn't tear a quad doing it. Look at him, he's doing the Hulk Hogan surveying the crowd years before Hogan made it a thing.
Early adopter of Do You Hear Them, Brother? Energy.
Here comes Kabuki, ducks under the rope, then steps over the top like a martial arts cryptid.
The mist, the paint, the aura. He looks like a fever dream from a karate movie VHS tape.
The kids stop asking for autographs now, because Kabuki looks like he eats autographs. And children.
Welcome to World Class, where you can shake hands with a legend and then watch him try to kill a ninja. Gary Hart always drawn to Japanese wrestlers and martial arts.
Did he always manage Japanese guys?
Most of them, if you kicked people in the head and had a vowel at the end of your name, Gary wanted your booking dates.
And don't forget, he was a huge Bruce Lee and Kung Fu movie guy in the 70s. So basically, Gary Hart was the original American dweeb.
Yeah, picture a one-bedroom apartment with posters of Bruce Lee throwing stars on the wall and a stack of VHS tapes labeled Research. Gary Hart was one of the more creative thinkers in wrestling, always drawing ideas from outside the business.
Which at that time meant, I saw this in a movie once and I'm gonna turn it into a gimmick.
To his credit, though, he actually did push boundaries. Most bookers were like, what if the heel cheats? Gary was like, what if the heel is a demon hitman from Singapore with poison mist and spider webs?
And you know what's crazy? Before any of this Dallas insanity, I knew Kabuki from one place. The 1994 Royal Rumble. Cornette's hired goon to eliminate Lex Luger.
A proud legacy, from terrifying Texas Demon to that guy in the Rumble for one spot. Don't forget, when Great Muta debuted in the NWA, he was originally presented as the son of the Great Kabuki. Don't forget, when Great Muta debuted in the NWA, he was originally presented as the son of the Great Kabuki.
The Kabuki Cinematic Universe.
Phase 1, Green Mist. Phase 2, Handspring Elbow. Phase 3, everyone pretends Gary Hart invented Japanese folklore.
So here we go, Bill. Gary Hart's version of where Kabuki came from.
The I Totally Came Up with This 100% Myself edition. My dream was to create an evil Japanese character, unlike anything wrestling had ever seen.
Except for the other guy in Detroit working as the Great Kabuki with the same gimmick, while Gary was literally in the same territory.
Oh, him? Never happened. Didn't exist. Kabuki? Totally different, brother. By 1980, Japan was no longer the enemy. Americans had Honda cars and Sony Walkmans.
So here we go, the Pearl Harbor to tape decks pipeline.
Straight out of Die Hard logic.
Hey, we're flexible. Pearl Harbor didn't work out, so we get you with electronics.
I was on a Cathay Pacific Airlines flight from Singapore to Hong Kong when I saw a magazine on Kabuki theater. I wanted a character with a subtle samurai warrior and kamikaze pilot feel. I find kamikazes intriguing.
This man is building one of the most racist but weirdly studied gimmicks in history while talking like he's writing a thesis. You know, this reminds me of that Vader folklore bullshit. Oh, in Japan, Vader is a legendary warrior spirit.
No, some guy in a design office drew a cool helmet and said, "Put the big American in it." My wife spilled green food coloring while baking cookies, and I got an idea.
Of course, this starts with cookies.
I mixed mouthwash and green coloring, poured it into a condom.
And then we went out in the backyard and fucked. Sorry. Went to the backyard and tested the mist.
Kabuki put the condom in his mouth and learned to blow the green mist.
So the legendary Asian mist was born from cookies, mouthwash, and latex?
That's one way to get over.
All right, Bill, Texas deathmatch time.
That's right, Joe. Referee's just here to count to 10 and declare a winner.
Everything else, you just kill each other until somebody forgets what state they're in. There it is. Big ass sword.
Kabuki brings to the ring exactly one war crime,
Announcer says, fortunately, he's never used that in the ring, at least to our knowledge.
which is not reassuring. At least to our knowledge is what you say when you haven't checked the missing persons reports.
You know what we're really missing here? A close-up.
That Kabuki mask is nightmare fuel in 1981. You get one tight shot of that on TV and every kid in North Texas sleeps with the lights on.
Instead, we get security cam at a truck stop resolution. Future legend, filmed like Bigfoot.
Of course, Gary Hart, neatly dressed, as Steve Harms tells us.
Yeah, Harms says you think he was an attorney or a banker if you didn't know better.
How about mobster from Chicago?
How about bald-shaking, smoking writer of fake sports with a suitcase full of booking sheets and regrets?
Harms mentions he's wearing the traditional Oriental black pajamas. Yes, I'm sure that's exactly what they call them in Japan.
Harms is single-handedly doing harm to international relations. Kabuki going through the martial arts poses. Big kicks, low stance, creepy hand shapes.
They mention he's double-jointed in the fingers, uses them like hooks.
Well, hey, the match needed some hook, right?
Bo.
Hey, you can't all be winners, Bill. Spin kick backs up Fritz early. Old man Von Erich is trying to figure out what to do with this ninja demon.
Fritz is keeping his distance, trying to find his way in. Like, what happened to regular headlocks and punches? Why's this guy doing karate at me?
Oh, Fritz catches the kick. Kabuki hits the mat like somebody unplugged his controller.
And then he's right back up, spinning like a malfunctioning ballerina.
Look at that pirate. Kabuki out here auditioning for the Nutcracker, Texas Deathmatch Edition.
And Fritz does the universal sign of this man is nuts.
Crowd loves it. You show Texans a crazy guy in pajamas doing kung fu twirls, and they'll cheer for the man in the turtleneck every single time. Kabuki's body here, for a man in his early 30s, I gotta say, Bill, this is not peak athleticism.
No, Joe, it looks like they found him at a pool hall at 2 a.m., and he said, sure, I'll wrestle, but I'm keeping the pajamas.
Seriously, Kabuki in 94 at the Royal Rumble looked younger than Kabuki in 81, because this version looks like he just finished paying alimony.
He looks older than Fritz.
Okay, let's not get crazy. Nobody looks older than Fritz. Kabuki tries a right, blocked. Fritz fires back. Oh, and he's shaking his hand like he punched a brick wall.
That's a great touch. Ow, I hurt myself hitting your weird undead ninja skull.
Kabuki's head is made of pure mist residue and spite. Fritz doing that little swat the bee away thing. Classic old man fighting technique.
Kabuki circling like he's about to write calligraphy in the air.
Harms just said Kerry had an incredible match with Harley Race earlier tonight.
Except the match hasn't happened yet.
Time travel is a hell of a production tool.
World-class championship wrestling, boldly airing matches out of order since 1981.
So what does this mean? Was this supposed to be the main event?
No way, this is not the main event. Even Fritz didn't try to Vern Gagne himself here.
Yeah, Vern would have booked himself in a 55-minute classic and then pinned Kabuki with a roll-up.
Instead, Fritz broke the mold by not putting himself on last.
Well, except for that whole accidentally killing his son thing.
No, Vern was too busy killing a guy in a nursing home.
Fritz gets a lick in. Old man Turtleneck still throwing hands like he's collecting rent. Fritz misses in the corner. Full on my back win out impact.
Kabuki follows with a sidekick into the corner. Beautiful execution like kicking a barn door closed.
That chop, Kabuki just knocked Fritz flat on his Texas-sized ass.
That's a pay your debts chop.
Kabuki stomping him, getting real heat now. The fans are clapping in that please don't kill the patriarch rhythm.
This is the most cardio Kabuki has done since 1978.
And Kabuki goes for the neck. He's trying to bite Fritz.
The most dangerous move in martial arts, the Hungry Dracula technique.
There's Manning trying desperately to pry Kabuki away. David Manning weighing in at 119 pounds of pure anxiety.
He's tugging Kabuki like, sir, please stop murdering the boss.
And Fritz, from the depths, hits the claw.
Nothing says Texas fatherly discipline like sticking your hand into a man's abdomen.
Fritz grabs the hair, drags Kabuki down, and mounts him. The Iron Claw is on. And they're in the ropes. Manning's calling for a break, even though this is a Texas death match and rope breaks officially mean Nothing!
He's just doing it out of habit at this point, like a guy hitting the crosswalk button even though the light will change anyway.
And now Kabuki rises, like a vampire waking from a nap.
Here comes the mystique, the menace, the theatrical posture.
Look at Fritz fighting from his knees like he's auditioning for a gritty reboot of the 10 Commandments.
Punches, kicks, big shots. Old Fritz looks like Donald Trump would look in wrestling trunks.
Oh, Jesus, you are right. This is exactly what Trump would look like in trunks. The same posture, the same angry energy, the same hair color on the chest.
Here comes a claw again, hovering over Kabuki's forehead like a UFO preparing to abduct a cow.
Kabuki holding it off like, "Sir, please, I need personal space." Kabuki slips out, Fritz struggling to stand, and Gary Hart immediately grabs Fritz's foot like he's repossessing a couch.
Kabuki pounces, and we get the stiffest enziguri this side of a karate VHS tape.
And Fritz lands tangled in the ropes like laundry someone forgot to fold.
Kabuki with the nerve hold right on the lymph nodes, as Gary Hart lovingly points out.
Gary Hart at ringside directing traffic like a chiropractor with vendetta. Yes, Kabuki right there. Hit the lymph nodes. Disrupt the endocrine system. To the apron, Fritz grabs him, rams him into the buckle.
Kabuki climbs the ropes. Fritz sidesteps and chops him like he's cutting firewood for the ranch.
Kabuki hits a big jumping kick. Look at him grabbing Fritz by the armpit.
Another nerve hold. He's trying to find the exact muscle Triple H tore at Crown Jewel.
Trying to isolate the "I'm too old for this" tendon. Oh, look, Gary Hart punching Fritz right behind the knee, right in the hamstring. This is like poking a bear in the balls.
Listen to that Dallas crowd. They're about to riot.
Holy shit, a motherfucker just jumped the rail.
That fan is throwing hands at Gary Hart. He's throwing more punches than Fritz.
This is wrestling.
Security swarms in, plainclothes, uniformed, all piling on him like he tried to steal the Declaration of Independence.
I don't care if he's drunk. I don't care if he's stupid. I don't care if he's doing it ironically. He needed to do that and needed to do something at a wrestling show. That's enough for me.
This is passion. This is Texas. This is world class.
And look at Gary, doesn't miss a beat, goes right back to chopping Fritz's knee like this happens every Thursday.
Gary Hart has been attacked so many times, this is just cardio for him.
David Manning hits Hart's arm. This was supposed to be the big stop interfering moment.
Except it already happened in real life with a civilian.
And now David Von Erich hits the ring, David swinging, Kabuki choking Fritz.
And there in the far corner, you can see the lime green shirt fan being handcuffed and led away.
Oh, we need that man's name in the Texas Wrestling Hall of Fame. David with the drop kick, backdrop cover. Though green as spinach, it works.
Yeah, David does not look crisp here.
No, not the next Flair guy everyone swears he was.
He's good, but he's not radiating that mythical stardom yet. This is not the Golden Boy Chosen One performance people romanticize.
And he's not the guy wrestling Harley later tonight. That's Kerry, as it should be. Honestly, Bill, in 1981, David feels more like a solid tag team kid brother than future NWA World Champion.
Agreed. He's capable, but the flair, the spark, not quite there yet. Not in this match.
Backdrop, Kabuki lands like a sack of nunchucks.
He hits the mat with all the grace of a waterlogged futon.
And here comes Papa Fritz. Old man crawls in, hooks the lady with the same energy he uses to get up from his recliner. Fritz Von Erich defeats the Great Kabuki in the second match of Star Wars 1981.
Yes, the Patriarch is victorious, and before anyone asks, no, this is not the main event. We promise.
And look at Gary Hart rushing in, trying to hold Kabuki like a dad stopping his kid from attacking a Chuck E. Cheese mascot.
Kabuki shoves him. Gary goes flying into the ropes.
Even Gary Hart, the human gargoyle, cannot contain the chaos demon he himself created.
Gary gets right back up, absolute pro, trying to separate them like, please stop, you're ruining my booking plans.
Imagine creating a monster heel, nurturing him, protecting him, keeping him strong, and he still punched you into the ropes like yesterday's laundry. Fritz has his hand raised, Iron Claw, Father of the Year energy radiating off him.
And the house lights come up, Cowboy Stadium bright, revealing the Dallas faithful roaring like a Baptist congregation on Easter Sunday.
Huge pop because nothing unites Texas fans like watching Fritz Von Erich spank a ninja on television.
Kabuki slinks away, Gary pulling him like a parent dragging a toddler out of a Target tantrum aisle.
Welcome back, folks, to another episode of Why Does This Need to Be 18 Minutes? Tonight, Fritz Von Erich versus the Great Kabuki, also known as the revenge match that forgot to get going.
A match so slow, Joe, that by the time it started, 3 children had grown up, gone to college, and moved out of Texas.
Before we even started, we have Fritz doing an impromptu book signing, like a meet and greet at a mall Sears.
Kids climbing the apron like it's a bouncy castle.
Meanwhile, Kabuki is in the ring doing Tai Chi, yoga, nunchuck kata, and at one point, I swear, he summoned a demon.
Between the Von Erich Autograph Festival and Kabuki's performance art warm-up, this match took longer to begin than the actual Star Wars trilogy.
So Fritz was semi-retired by 81, right? Avenging David, coming back for one last dad-fueled brawl?
Yes, except most of the match is Fritz walking toward Kabuki like a man checking his thermostat for the 12th time.
So for the final review of this match, work rate, this is more like watching 2 rotary phones wrestle. I give this 2 out of 10. Psychology, Fritz wants revenge, Kabuki wants chaos, and the fan wants blood. Hey, that's a 10 out of 10. Fan invasion quality, elite. AEW could never top. Give that an A+. Kabuki misting threat level? It's low, but it's always terrifying. I'll give that 7 out of 10. Overall entertainment, slow, boring, but it had a real-life brawl and some dad-son heroics. So, overall great for this match. Give it a B, 8 out of 10.